Hey guys, how is everyone doing today?
Hola.
I want to welcome everyone to the Lauren Hour podcast with your girl Laura Danny. And we got my co-host B Bass. We got my girl
What up?
Jazz and our little co-host, little sister Ivy. Hey little sister.
You gotta say hi to everybody. Say hi. You gotta wave. You gotta wave.
Hi.
Little sister.
Oh, now you don't want to wave. Oh, now you do.
Oh,
Okay.
she said, I
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay. What she
do.
says.
So, guys, tonight's show. Let me tell you, I'm feeling the type of way. And we got an echo. Hey, can everyone, while I'm talking, can you guys mute your mic real quick? Let me see if it's me. Nope. Okay. So we keep mics muted for a second, and then when you guys are ready to talk, just unmute. Okay. So tonight's show, it's pretty much an emotional show for me because there's been a lot of shootings that happened over the weekend. And let me tell you, it seems like gun control is just out of control in the US. It seems like we absolutely have no control over the people who are able to purchase guns and just shoot all these people and just do all these evil things. So over the weekend, there were at least 4 mass shootings. So one mass shooting happened on Saturday. That was in Buffalo, New York. Then there was another mass shooting that happened in California against Taiwanese church. That was like more political. The one in Buffalo was a hate crime. We're going to get more into that one because that's the one I really, really want to focus on. And then there was a mass shooting in Milwaukee. So there were 17 people wounded on Friday night. 4 others were injured in a separate shooting that took place at the same location. So it was 2 shootings that night at the same location. Like, really crazy. The next one was Orange County, and that was in California. So that was 2 shootings in California. And then the other one was actually here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I don't have too much information on that, except for there were 50 shells from various calibers of weapons, meaning there were multiple guns fired. There was a pair of mass shootings that took place in Houston, Texas. One of them was in Amarillo, Texas. And that was on Sunday, and it was a fight between 2 groups of people. All 5 victims were reportedly involved in altercation, so it was 5 people who were shooting at each other. And that is all the shootings that took place. And this was all over the weekend. All over the weekend. B-Bass, I'm muting. Tell me, what are your feelings about all these dingo?
Yeah, the I guess this blood moon that happened on Friday just completely made everything nuts. So 8 cities, 17 dead, 65 injured, coming from all the way from Buffalo all the way down to Texas. It's outrageous. I don't think gun control is the issue though. What I think is the issue is that how these people are obtaining the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are ill, you should not have a weapon. And there's definitely FBI watching everybody. You know, they're watching you. They even with the Buffalo kid, he was posting some stuff prior, so he was on a watch.
Yeah,
They
we're
just
gonna
didn't stop it.
Yeah, we're gonna dig into that.
I think intervention and the FBI, if they are keeping tabs on individuals, I think they need to be more on a preemptive strikes instead of reactive.
Right.
There's a lot of problems with that here in the U.S. We're probably the only country really that has an issue with this, and I think we're number one. Um, and China has no issues because the residents can't own weapons, and Canada doesn't have gun problems like
France
this.
doesn't have these issues.
Yeah, and gun control. It's looked, I think, as like a policy, it makes more of a problem. It's kind of like the abolitionists. If you remember, the abolishment of the alcohol created a
Yeah.
whole bunch of
The,
moonshine. They got to target
it was a prohibition.
prohibition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the prohibitionists came out with speakeasies and all that. There's a whole bunch of underground ways of buying a weapon that you don't even need a background check on anything like that. So all these illegal weapon sales are the problem. It's not really the.
So let me say this, because I said gun control. The reason why I say gun control is because we have to have control where they're going, who are getting the weapons, because I believe in the rights to bear arms. I believe everyone should, if you're qualified, if you're mentally stable, and you can legally own a gun, I believe you should have a right. But I do believe that when it comes to people who make prior threats or people who are mentally unstable, they should not be able to own a gun at all. It's unfair, but actually it's not unfair. It seems unfair, but the logical thing is for me not to give a gun to someone who is mentally challenged and they clearly don't understand gun safety. They clearly don't understand how to use the guns. They clearly don't understand where to take the guns, and they can't understand their emotions and how to handle their emotions when they get upset. You upset and you're emotionally unstable and you have a gun, more than likely you're going to make a poor decision, Jazz, what's your thought process on that?
I mean, all of it is, it's just all ugly. I mean, I agree with what you say, like if you have any type of mental issues, you shouldn't be able to own a gun because of things like this. So
right. And so I really want to dig into this shooting in Buffalo. So over the weekend, and I'm not going to use this kid's name, we're going to call him what he is, a homegrown terrorist, because that is what he is. Anytime you purchase a weapon and then you drive over 200 miles to a different city to target a particular group of people, that is terrorism. You created terror in that shopping center or in that top grocery store. So let me give you guys a little bit of background. So the guy who did this, he was 18 years old. The terrorist who did this, he was 18 years old. He's from a city, I think is, I don't know how to pronounce it. It starts with a C. Conklin, New York. The young man was put in a mental institution, right, for making a threat to his high school. He told them at the high school, because he was upset, that he was going to shoot the school up. And he was placed in a mental asylum. And they said a general threat. They said he made a general threat. And they placed him in a mental asylum. He threatened to shoot up the school. My problem with this is whoever made the decision to just put him in and he was it wasn't even a mental asylum. He went to a hospital for mental health check. That's what it was. That's what it was labeled as. Yes, very intentional and very sickening, Christine. But my whole thing was, why wasn't this guy put on any list? Because Brandon, he wasn't on a list. He wasn't on a watch list.
And that's the thing. Like, why I was mentioning is like FBI had known, and they definitely get notified when someone is of unstable sound and mind. You really need to look at what's happening, because the FBI being able to have access to all these things, and why are they taking so long to act? Why
Right.
do we have so many problems with the judicial system as far as like how these guys will be targeted as far as like their mental instabilities or if they have any priors. So these things need to really be looked at. Also, look at how are they obtaining these weapons, and then
Yeah.
go after those individuals because, see,
Like the young boy whose parents got
possession,
charged.
yeah. So illegal possession of firearm in certain states have more of a harsher charge than others. Like if it's a state that is like a gun friendly state, they don't really they have more harsh charges against them instead of the ones that are like not so gun friendly.
Right.
So possession of a firearm in, I think, New York is 5 years. If you discharge a weapon, it's 10 years on top of that. So every time you have a bullet, it's a 10-year charge on top of that. So I think that's in New York, and PA I think has the same kind of law. But
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia is outrageous with crime too. There's gun violence outright probably almost every single night.
Yeah, I know that in Philly. So, Shaka said, "Hey, probably cry out." Oh, he meant to say he probably cried out and got off like the other terrorist. Was his name Rittenhouse? You know what, Shaka? This right here, this story, it puts me on the mind of Kyle Rittenhouse because I believe that in this young man's mindset, he was going to have the same type of trial as Kyle Rittenhouse because this guy had a 180-page manifesto. Okay, 180-page. They said that this young man has been plotting for more than 2 years. And in January, he decided to take it seriously. And this was my thing. Kyle Rittenhouse drove those couple of hours from wherever he was at, I believe what was Kenosha somewhere, to go where he needed to go and cause problems, right? And Kyle Rittenhouse was deemed as a hero by all the white people and some other people like, oh, well, he was defending himself, but I'm not going to get into that because that is something for a whole different day. But I
I
think
can
this
say they say he was a hero because he killed a dude that was like a child predator or some shit like that. So,
there was only a few people that, well, only that guy. There was only that guy
hmm
that I seen justification in. The
right,
other
yeah, I
guys I
agree with
didn't see
that.
no justification in.
Right.
And I said that I was always very vocal about that. The one guy,
Yeah.
but anyways, but this young man drove 200 miles. And so this was what was said. He did his research and he targeted that top store because in that zip code, there were more black people registered to that zip code. That zip code. So that's what it said in his manifesto. That is why this man, this terrorist, drove over there to that top store to shoot and kill those people. And now the Justice Department is going to be investigating this as a racially motivated violent crime of extremism. So this is my thing. If and the statement that the sheriff made, the sheriff said, Erie County Sheriff John Garcia said, a straight up racially motivated hate crime. That is what this is. This is a hate crime cut and dry. That's what he said. And he was so passionate with his words. And you could tell this man was so emotionally moved by what happened because these are people who were just shopping. These weren't people protesting. These weren't people out committing crimes. These weren't people in the store bothering anyone. They were doing their everyday life. You know. Someone tell me, how do you guys feel about this? How you guys feel about going to grocery stores now?
I mean, that's why I don't go to grocery stores anyway, because anything could happen, like something like that, and it's like 98% of the time when I go somewhere, Ivy is with me. So it's like I would never want to be caught in a store like that, minding my damn business, and me and her get shot. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's like, I
Right.
mean, if I can jump back a little bit, what you was saying about, him being a terrorist and everything. My only thing is that, him being a terrorist, I definitely agree with that. But it's more like why didn't they shoot him down like they did, like people that were unarmed, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like they were unarmed and they were killed, and it's like this cat was heavily armed and not killed, like it like reminds me of what is his name that went to the church? What was it? Dylan Hood, I think his name was.
Dylan
Him.
Roof.
And
Dylan Roof.
there we go, him. And then it's like it reminds me of that with him, or it reminds me of the dude that went in the movie theater out there in Colorado and just shot the shit up. It's
Right.
like, y'all, those are the type of people that I consider them obviously armed and dangerous. Why the fuck y'all not shooting them down? Like,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I don't want to wish death upon nobody, but it's like, I mean, y'all done already killed so many people, y'all should be fucking dead. But
Right.
that's just my opinion.
So Christine Jackson said, it's something we do every day. And when I was out today, I caught myself looking at people. I mean, yeah, I be eyeing people now too. Like, why are you wearing a coat and it's 80 degrees out here? Why are you touching your waistband? Like my mind is always going there. And now, like when new movies get released, I be scared to go the first day. Brandon, what's your thoughts?
All right. So for the crime in the Buffalo thing was that's too much for me. The guy, I read that report, said he wanted to kill as many black people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That is racially motivated hate crime, terrorists. But one thing, we gotta separate. You can't say he's gonna get the same treatment as Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse had a self-defense defense. That kid was strictly wanting to cause mayhem, and he did that. Now, one thing about terrorism, just to pass it around, anyone who doesn't know, it is to cause fear, motivated through either religion or by acts of violence. Okay? Now, if you want to beat terrorism, you have to show them you're not afraid. So still go out in public, go over there, because what you're doing is you're making the kid win. Don't allow that. Just keep doing what you're doing and don't stop, because we don't want these people to win. Right. They have no power over me because I have terrorism awareness. So here's a thing what we teach each other in the military for terrorism awareness. You don't take the same route twice. Always look around in your vehicle, under it, for any type of explosives. Always be mindful of where you are and who you are interacting with. If you go into a public setting, keep your eye on the exits and also anyone suspicious persons that walk around. So unfortunately, like Christine was saying, she's looking at people. That's what I do. I'm always looking around, and every 3 steps I'm turning my back and I'm looking behind me. So these are the things I look extra paranoid, but this is what I call terrorism awareness. You can tell who has it and they're trained and who doesn't. So like the ones who are very mindful, like, your producer, aware of everything around them. And he and I were having a laugh on that because I was like, "Oh, you peeped that?" He's like, "Yeah, I looked at that when I was over there." He's like, "I saw that guy."
Me that notices some shit, but won't notice everything. Like, yeah, I mean, I see how you say, you walk the 3 steps and look behind. I won't even do that. I'll walk halfway across the fucking store and then be like, "Oh, let me go ahead and turn around and look behind me." So if they were trying to aim to kill somebody, they got me already.
So I try to keep those in mind when I'm out, but the kid should get the full extent of the law. Unfortunately, yes, we have a problem with like you were mentioning, all those individuals that died that had no weapon on them, and it's unfortunate how these terrorists are being treated with more care and respect. Even the kid from Sandy Hook, he was gently taken out of his home rather than SWAT stormed it, and he had his hands up and he walked out, and he gets taken to court in full body armor. So it's like, I don't appreciate that. The Georgia one, hold on, let me see.
What happened?
Wow. So there is a man that is down here that is on death row. His name is, give me 2 seconds, Virgil Presnell. He, back in 1976, raped a 10-year-old girl and then drowned a 8-year-old girl he had abducted from a school. So he's been on death row since then. His execution it was supposed to be today at 7 p.m., but he has been trying to get it overturned because they are saying because of quote unquote fetal alcohol syndrome from his mom, he didn't know
Oh,
what he was
yes.
doing. That was one thing. Then they said that, oh, he kidnapped the kids thinking that they were having an enjoyable time. So they want him to basically be on or be in prison for, like life without parole. But yeah. So
Christine
Outrageous.
Jackson said, "OMG." Shaka said, "When that black cop Chris
Chris Dorn.
Dorm killed
Chris
y'all,
Dorn.
y'all know I ain't gonna
Yeah, killed one cop. They
Chris
tore a
Dorn.
whole city down looking for him and set a small house on fire. You mean to tell me this young white male
Right,
with a gun can just put his hands up? Unfortunately, Shaka, that's what's happening,
right,
and it's a
right.
trend. And I'm not cool with that. Like when it comes to the whole like situation when you got that mentally ill kid who was
And we did a
also
very,
had
very
mental
fast.
health disorder. He had mental health disorder and was mentally impaired. So he had an impairment where he was disabled. He was sitting there and he had his hands up and everything, and he still shot him
Oh
down.
yeah. What was his name? Elijah McCain or Elijah
So
McClain.
McLean, yeah.
Yes.
So
Oh my God, that was
it
horrible.
was just
Yeah,
it
I
was the
listened to
saddest
the
thing in the world,
audio
and
of it
and
from
he was
his last, and
and
that audio was horrible.
those things don't get like don't
Highlighted.
I get upset about that because it's
Yeah,
like it's not fair. The
It's
kid
not.
was scared out of his mind, right?
Yeah. He
right.
was
So
trying to tell him who he was and everything. Like,
yeah,
if anybody sits and listens, like, I just happened to be on Facebook the one day and they're like, this
right.
is the audio, listen to it. And in the back of my mind,
I
I'm like,
know that
Jazz,
shit.
don't listen to this
And
shit. You
you
don't
can
need
tell that
to.
he was a little bit unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
Yeah,
it
whatever.
you
was
could
like,
tell the difference. And I'm sitting there,
Yeah.
I was literally in tears listening to that shit because it's horrible. Like,
right.
it's damn horrible that people
Yeah.
like that was his last moments. Like, that's horrible.
Yep.
Right.
And I was, people get at me for the tone deaf response that I got about George Floyd, but I was looking at all the tapes and I'm like, this is what I saw on the tapes. So initially, had he not fought them back, he would still be around. But again, like you said, the dude had an agenda against him and he was wrong for that. So I'm like, I can see both sides too, but at the same time, I'm like, it's unfair that the people that actually cause mass murder are still alive.
Right.
They should
Right.
be
So,
taken out.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
want to get back onto this because the shooting in
Mhm.
Buffalo, I need to address this. I
Yeah.
have to address this. So another thing that I'm not sure many people know is this young man live streamed his shooting as if he was in a first player shooting game. I don't know if you guys have ever played Halo, or Halo is like in the first player what is it, how's it called? I'm sorry guys. First person shooter game. So first person shooter game, you
Yeah.
don't see your body. You're just walking in and you can just see your gun and you see what's pointing at you and you see your targets and you bam, bam, bam. That's how he had that recorded. So he must have had like a helmet or something on and the camera attached to
Like
his
GoPro.
yeah, like GoPro.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
so
but Twitch took it down in 2 minutes. They took it down. So
I thank God they took it down. But in the live stream, his gun, he had a rifle. His rifle had the N word written across it. Yes, that is a sick individual. This terrorist killed 10 people and wounded 3. And one of the people that he killed, because I don't have all their names, was a retired Buffalo police officer. His name was Aaron Salter. Um, our thoughts and our prayers go out to all of the family members because they didn't deserve that. They were out there shopping in a grocery store, probably preparing a meal for a family member who came to town, preparing a meal for their children who's coming from school. We don't know what they were there for, but we do know that it was something to benefit them and their family, and something that we all take for granted every day, simply going into the store shopping, expecting to come back home, not expecting some sicko, some terrorist to come in there and take our lives. That is the
yeah.
most horrible. That's just so horrible. It's just so vile. It's just so evil. And I really can't get with it. But the thing that disgusts me the most was our so-called president, um, Mr. Biden, for him to get on TV and denounce that this was a terroristic act sickened me because I remember this jackhole telling Trump that, oh, you didn't denounce racism when the Charlottesville attack happened. You said there were good people on both sides. Well, sir, I'm not a fan of Trump, but at least he did say there were two people, there were two groups of people who were at fault here. Basically.
Yeah, you said good people and bad.
Good people and bad people. But Mr. Biden, you are showing your true colors. The more and more I see you in the news, you are showing your true colors. You said that this was not a terroristic act. Then what do we call it? And that is my question. This is the hard-hitting question. I'm sorry, because I'm gonna dig into him. I gotta calm down because I'm getting so warmed up, like I'm about to flip. So my hard-hitting question today is, why was this terrorist not only placed in a mental hospital? Why was he only placed in a mental hospital and not put in jail for making threats to shoot up a high school? This is my thing, because this is what this young man is. He's a terrorist. This is what this vile, evil person is. He's a terrorist. He made plans to go to this district because they had the majority of Black people and kill them. Who's at fault here for letting him slip through the cracks? Because you know what? I'm not going to blame the school because the schools did report it.
Yeah, his family, the police district.
Mainly his family, because
the
his
hospital.
family probably seen it from the beginning and was just like, oh, it's nothing. It's a phase. He'll go through it.
The hospital that treated him. Like every single one. The insurance company that paid for his hospital bills, like, go after everybody. Like, I think the families should sue the city of where he's at because the city didn't do their due diligence. Unfortunately, I think that's one of the ways to fix this, and also take away the these light policies that they got against these criminals, especially for mental health. If you have a threat like that, even though they call those idle, but they're a threat against like a school, they're a threat against a certain type of groups of people, like not just an individual threat. So there's a terroristic threat, and then there's the regular threat against someone, which is ideal. Oh my gosh, what is it called?
I don't know.
Idle threat. So it's like an idle threat. It's a threat that you don't act upon, but it's still
threat. Yeah, that's what you're trying to say.
It's still a threat nonetheless, but they need to start looking at these people that say these things and it's reported. So those reportings need to now be more aggressive as far as the investigations that should arise from them.
Right.
Meaning the police task force part that they have for terrorism, if someone would have said that, they should have launched a full investigation on this individual the minute he stepped into that hospital.
Right. And this was in June of 2021. So this was last year.
A whole year. And they sat on that. Yeah.
And they sat on that.
Unsatisfactory.
They sat on it.
That's atrocious.
Now we know that in most places, if you make a threat, you're doing some jail time. You're not going to a mental hospital and say, oh, let me check you out because that's not normal. People do not take threats like that as a joke, especially against students. Because if one thing American has proved is that people will go in there and hurt our babies while they're in school trying to learn. We cannot sleep on any threats that are made towards NT1. I'm sorry, because you don't know what people are thinking. People are capable of very evil things. As we can see, this boy is 18. He is 18. I am trying to figure out 180 pages. That's a lot of work. I know people in college who don't want to write a 150-page letter, let alone 180 pages.
That's all it is. It starts from home. Like, because why do you feel that horribly toward Black people?
True.
Like, it starts at home.
It's taught.
It starts at home. But it's like, it's crazy how you say, like, he says this threat, but yet nobody does anything about it. Now, you remember when Damon, when his son got killed,
Yes.
how he said he was going to do all that, knowing damn well that
he
we all
got
know
real
he wasn't
time.
going to do nothing.
That's the
Exactly.
difference.
He actually got arrested for that shit. And it's like, come
And
on
he
now,
was
that man was hurting for his
right.
child, but yet,
That's
you say
that
stuff.
difference. That's that difference in
That's
skin
that color
color.
difference.
That's
Yeah.
that color difference. That man's baby got murdered like a dog in the streets, and that young man didn't bother nobody. That was a decent young man, and that father was hurt. He was driving. He got the phone call. He said he got the phone call. He had just told his son. He said he just told his son, come up here or something like that, allegedly, because I'm going to say what I seen on Facebook, allegedly. And this man was hurting. His heart was broken. And put that comment back up in a minute. And he said what he said, and he said it out of hurt. And those people still prosecuted that man and gave him a very heavy sentence. Pull Christine's comment back up. So Christine Jackson said, like, how long was this brewing inside of him? Shaking my head. For some years, they said, for a couple of years. And here's the kicker. This boy has schematics of the dang grocery store.
Oh, my God.
He has schematics of the grocery store. He had his route planned to the T. To the T.
That's premeditated. That's premeditation.
And most people with mental illness is that they don't have that type of patience because they can only focus on things for so long. You know what I'm saying? Some people like that he was aware. I'm sorry. If he could do that, he is very much aware to stand trial and let's give his ass lethal injection. I'm sorry. And I'm usually not the person that's for that, but this
I don't think New York has that though.
Well, we need to find a way.
Death. No, see, look, there's only like I think 4 states that do the death penalty. New York isn't one of them. They outlawed the death penalty a long time ago. The federal death penalty was removed in the 80s, I think, and the states had to adopt it now.
And I'm looking it up now to see.
It's like California's got it, Texas got it, Florida's got it.
Let's see. Okay, so as of 2021, states with the death penalty is Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. So for New York, they ruled out the death penalty as of 2007.
Yeah. So those states that have it, they don't even implement it because the death row, if you look at how long death row is, the people spend like 20-something
like
years.
That man here, he's been on death row since 1976, I think they said.
Wow.
So
yeah,
it's
and they give them the ability to delay it so they can do an appellate. They have an appellate court that goes and they review it, and then he tries to say, well, I don't deserve the death penalty, and they can keep requesting that for the rest of their life as long as they're on death row.
My uncle did it. My uncle was on death row from, let me see, I think sometime in the 80s, and they had him on to execute him, and they never did. He ended up passing away in prison, but it's like because they kept pushing it, you know.
When you listed all those states, there's only really 4, and probably I think in the last 15 years that actually utilized it. One was to
Georgia
take out
definitely
Tukey.
Wasn't one of them. So
Tukey
I think
Williams.
they said the last time somebody was.
You remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger had the ability to revoke that death penalty on him, and he had a very compelling case, and Arnold's like, no, you're gonna get the death penalty. Yeah. So he went like Tukey was the guy who created the Crips, but he wasn't the one who created the Crips of today.
Yeah,
he was saying he wanted to help the community ever since he went into jail for the crimes that he didn't commit. He went to jail for all that, and he says from then on he became a positive influence to youth, and he was a positive public speaker to youth. So any type of troubled child came around, he was there to turn their life around. So it was like, and he got, I think, a professor. He became a professor inside of the prison. So it was like guys like him getting put to death, and it's like the death row system. That whole system is all jacked up. They gotta fix it.
So I have, I want to move on to the next hard-hitting question. So my next hard-hitting question is, why is it that white supremacists / white nationalists are considered a hate group, but yet they have so much access to these young kids? And the reason why I had to ask this question is because this young man, this terrorist, said that he was trying to eradicate Black people because we're replacing Caucasians. So there's a congresswoman that he was following and he was listening to her. I could not find her name, but if you guys watched today's episode of yesterday's episode of The View, they said her name on The View. So check out yesterday's episode of The View. But this congresswoman is teaching Caucasian replacement. So that's a theory. So it's replacement theory. It's a replacement theory. So the theory that some Caucasians feel is that Black people are replacing them. And I think that is the biggest fraud, the biggest piece of crap, the biggest urban legend. Come on, quit it. I think for any Caucasian person to think such a thing, I think you guys are so living in like 400 years ago, because the only thing we could replace you for was picking cotton. If you were going to be replaced, it was you didn't no longer have to go out there in those fields. Your little brothers and sisters and your cousins, your auntie and your uncles, your nieces, and your cats and your dogs did not have to go out there in the fields to pick cotton, because y'all went and enslaved some Black folks, brought them over here, and they picked that cotton. That's the only time you guys been replaced by Black people. So let's be 100% real. I want to say this because I don't want to be gearing up and put in certain groups and the crossfires, but I wanted to say this, really, Black people are not replacing Caucasians, okay? We have less resources than them. We don't own as much land as they own. We're not nowhere caught up to them. They've had a head start for a lot of years now. 400 years they had a head start, okay? We're still trying to catch up. We're still playing catch up, okay? We're doing better, but we're not replacing you. The people who are replacing construction workers are not Black people. I'm sorry, those are not the jobs that most Black people do. We're not replacing you guys in the field of engineering. We have a lot of Black people who come to the field, but those positions are usually filled by foreigners. Like people who come from overseas and fill those positions. If you guys feel some type of way, it is not, you guys aren't being replaced by anybody, to be realistic.
Just engineering and IT too. Because there's a lot of people I talk to at my job that are foreign and they work in IT. So
exactly. We're not, why is it that they look at us and they think we're taking something from them? And it's I really think it's about the women when you think about it, because I don't think they care about the jobs, because it's not us taking the jobs. I think it is about Black men taking their women, and there's more mixed babies in the world. When you think about it, there are more mixed babies in this world. That should be a positive thing. That should be like,
in some aspects,
this is love just spreading.
In some aspects, but I ain't gonna get started on that. Y'all want my opinion on that? Nope.
Do you know why I really believe in I really like, I love me a Black man. Okay? I love me a Black. Ain't nothing like no Black man. But I used to I thought that having biracial babies would bridge the gap between Blacks and whites hating each other, Asians and Asians believing that Blacks were evil, or other people believing that Blacks were evil, because I thought that maybe if they had a Black child in their family, that they will see the innocence. They're like, oh, this is my grandchild. My grandchild is Black. My grandchild is beautiful. I love them. And now they can look at any other Black person as a human being. That's what I was hoping would happen, and it just seemed like it's just not happening, because this guy, I'm talking for a long time. I'm sorry. Somebody else go ahead, because y'all know how I get. Brandon,
I'll go, and now I'm going to throw it to you, Jazz. So that theory that they're all like talking about that you were just mentioning of, it's kind of like a misconception of what's really going on in the U.S. So there's numbers out that was from the 2020 census. Okay, in regards to the actual population. And Jazz has those numbers up, so she'll give it to us.
So with that, from the 2020 census, it says that the white population still remains as the largest ethnicity. There is 204.3 million people in the census that identified as white. And then there's multiracial, and then et cetera, et cetera. With African American, let me see.
It should be 41.1 million, only 12.6% of the population.
And 46.9 million is
The 2020 census, because I'm looking
that's
at
what
it says
I'm
41.1 accounted in
seeing. It says
the
all of the race or
census.gov.
combination groups experience increases. The some other race in a combination group 49.9. Yeah, it says 46.9 million for blacks.
You on census.gov?
Yep. I will link in here
Thank
that
you
I'm
to
looking
Jazz for pulling up the numbers and B. We appreciate you guys.
at. No problemo.
Yes, ma'am.
So unless there's another one, let me see.
Well,
I'm
B,
looking
These aren't census.
while you're waiting for her
I'll
to pull
post
up.
it here what I pulled up because
Okay.
I got it right here. So this is the 2021 that has those numbers that I was telling you.
Okay.
Are we
So
looking
it's the
at?
same one,
Dude,
but you
it's
got
literally the same.
multiracial though. The one I'm looking at is the
Oh,
one
that's
that
why.
says
Okay.
Black or African population, which says
That's why. Okay.
2020 41.1 million were accounted for, 12.4%.
Who the hell is Elizabeth Olsen?
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
Who?
Shaka said,
Scarlet
only
Witch.
way I'm
Who
having
the
a
hell
half
is
white
Scarlet
baby.
Witch?
She's an Avenger.
The Olsen twins from Full House.
From
They have
House
I
of
know
the
who they
sister.
is.
Their sister plays Scarlet
Their
Witch.
youngest
Plays,
sister.
Vision wife. Wanda, you ever heard the show WandaVision? That's
No.
Elizabeth Olsen. Okay,
I
so
watch a lot of
Shaka
cartoons now, so.
Shaka said, only way I'm having a half white baby is if Elizabeth Olsen agrees to be my baby mama. I do
Me,
love
it's
her.
Scarlett Johansson. So
Yeah,
Y'all are
Shaka and I had that
Black
convo.
Widow forever.
Y'all are sickening.
For me,
Like,
it
don't
would
get
be,
me
it
wrong.
would,
I mean,
it
I
would
ain't
be
against.
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris, okay.
Oh, wait, ain't that Thor? Is that Thor?
Yes, girl. Okay, look, she knew something.
I know Thor. I know that much. Yeah.
You know that he'll hit it till you're Thor.
Something like that.
I hit it tough.
Ha 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 ha.
Till you're Thor. Yeah.
Okay, get it. Don't stop. Pop that out. Something like But okay, so you guys got that number up. So the reason why I asked the question, why is it that why where'd the question go? Oh,
Why
why
is
is
it
it
that-
that white supremacists / white nationalists are considered a hate group, but yet they have so much access to young kids? The reason why I asked that is because, like I was saying, this young man, his manifesto was based upon the stuff that he was learning on the internet. And like I said, they were teaching the replacement theory. If we know that white supremacists are a hate group, why are they not on the watch list? And if they are they really being watched? Because most of the crimes that happen lately, have they been like in the midst of it?
There's been problems with all that is that there's been investigations where they say there are ties but no definitive proof. And that's unfortunate because if they have had any type of interaction with certain groups like that, yes, it should be deemed that. But I think the white nationalism is confused with populists, the populist group, which are the ones that are wanting to change the way things were being ran. And it's like the way, like how MAGA is being looked at as like a white supremacist group, but the MAGA crew isn't about that. What it is that the problems that we're having right now were predicted by a certain individual, which means it's the group that we got in the office right now that are the problem. They're the white supremacists. Those are the people.
So
like Nancy Pelosi. You got Chuck Schumer. Those are the problem kind of people.
So I'm gonna go as far as to say as me and Brandon been talking like about this off camera like all the time, like replacing these white men and white women who sit on Congress and all of this old blood.
Decades.
We need to replace the old blood that's in the White House because the old blood are used to the sick old ways and they want this country ran. Yes, they're set in those ways and they want this and they're teaching that to their children coming in. So let's not bring their family into the office because guess what? The well has been poisoned.
Oh, right? It's okay, Peyton. We're not hating on you, homie.
Oh yeah, no judgment.
We don't know. We're not hating on you. We're talking about the gunman problem.
Peyton something. He's actually one of the other guys who was named in the shooting. So because other dudes, Peyton, you're innocent. Okay.
Wait. Hold on. What?
We shall see.
Wait, he was. Hold on. You said
it's
that
probably a bot account.
Yeah, it is. We know how that is, but we're still going to address it since you want to be over there acting like you're him. We will see. You will be found guilty in the court of law.
I don't think that's the actual person.
Listen, if they want to listen,
I know I'm not that motherfucking high. Like,
anyways, let's not pay attention to this.
Wow.
What I was saying was. Let me get back on track. Let's definitely old blood in the Congress, okay? Because people keep saying, how are we going to move America forward? How we're going to move America forward is actually the people getting out here, removing the people who've been in this House seat, their family, their legacies. Legacies should not be in Congress just because they were related to someone. Let's get people on Congress, in the Senate, who actually care about this country and not the people who are lining their pockets, not the people who have business deals going on with the people who are undercutting the working people, the working class people who are keeping their thumb on us and keeping us down. We have to get rid of these people. And once we get rid of these people, then we can get rid of these terrorists, these homegrown terrorists, because that's what it is. America's talk so much. Sorry guys for being long-winded. America talks so much about outside threats, but we never address the threats that's inside, and we never see them coming until it's too late. It's going to be the people that are within this country that takes us down. We weren't worried about the people outside. Let's deal with the people in here first, while keeping an eye on people on the backside. Like, we watching you, Putin, too. Don't play with us. We watching you. But hey, little Bobby, sit your butt down. You know?
That was funny as hell.
Off subject. How dude says that he's innocent, but I'm looking at a whole article where it said that he beheaded a fucking cat. Like,
oh boy. But that's
what
did
the cat do to you to fucking behead it? Like, seriously.
The dude's still in custody. There's no way that this Peyton guy was able to make a comment.
I know, but it's like now that I've seen it, I'm just like, and then that pops up.
From what I heard was that his brother or family member is running his accounts. So that's what I was trying to say.
It's what it is. If that's the case, then
I just feel bad for the cat. Like, I just want to know what the fuck the cat did to him for him to behead it. Like, that's animal cruelty.
You ever had a cat poop on your bed?
I have. I used to have a kitty, and I mean, but still.
But like,
you gotta fucking behead it. Just like kick it out, or like, like smack its nose. Say no, don't do it. Don't take its whole head off. Like, what are you gonna do with a fucking cat head? Like, seriously.
That's sickening.
That's how white people. Sorry.
And then they're trying to go to what is it? He's mentally ill. Fuck that. Excuse my language. There is
mentally.
I don't think you're mentally ill, because doing some stuff like that takes a lot of.
No, it's So he's disturbed. So he's not ill. He's disturbed. So he's got sociopath. He could be like a Ted Bundy, very intelligent individual with very sadistic thoughts, and someone that should have been stopped, and probably has schizophrenia, probably DID. Could it be like disassociative?
But I feel like his parents is the one too. Like, like I said, they seen it, but they're like, no.
Yeah,
and I would blame the bypass.
Those are telltale signs. You can see it.
Yeah, no, my baby stuck a firecracker up a cat's ass. Like, he's innocent. No, he went exactly.
And then they go and do some shit like this.
This boy had to have an arraignment, because if you made a threat, the cops are usually called when you make a threat for saying you're gonna shoot up a school, right? There had to be a judge. There had to be a prosecutor to say, oh, we don't want to throw this poor young white male's life away. So let's just go ahead and send us to the mental hospitals. They putting him in jail because he doesn't belong there. And that's just like the case in Texas where the little boy's defense was, I'm too rich. That's why I plowed through my car through all of these people, because there's always some type of defense for these white kids who can make right. Yes, in Texas, rich white little punk. Or how about that rapist? What was his name?
So I'm about to go do that and see if I get the same
You
treatment.
know that there was a black dude that did the same thing, right? That plowed through a crowd of people. If you're gonna say it, you gotta say both sides.
So wait a minute.
Oh shit!
He didn't get off, did he? He's in jail. That boy got off.
Oh, did that? No.
No.
You gotta speak about one. You gotta speak about the other.
Listen, no. We only speak about the ones where there is no justice. If there is justice, there's no need to bring it up. There was no justice. That young man who did that had multiple counts of reckless driving and all this stuff. He kept getting slaps on the wrist. That other guy, he ain't plowing to people multiple times. That boy had hit people's cars. He had hit somebody. It was a lot of stuff. And then he killed like 3 people. There's a difference, B. There's a difference. That's just like me saying, Jazz, I'm going to give you this apple. I'm going to give you this tomato while I eat this apple. Sure, they're both fruits, but one of them are totally different from the other.
I like tomatoes. You should give it to me.
Yeah, you can have that because I hate tomatoes.
I'll take it.
Hey, you should have had that tomato taco I had from Velvet. that taco was good. I had a fried green tomato taco. That mother sucker.
No, I had the traditional beef taco because that was great, and it reminded me of my school lunch in Sheridan. Taco day. The soft tacos we would get.
I love tacos. All I think about is tacos. But you know what? Let me
destroy that.
Let me say this
though. Tater tots.
Yes, let me say this, because the tacos back at Sheridan was slapping for some reason. I don't know why they were slapping. Maybe that's why I love tacos so much. Let me say this, y'all. Look at me, like I'm struggling up here, feeling all thin and stuff. Look at me getting all thin. Ow. So, anyways, this president, because I have to get back on it because I had to calm down because the CIA was probably going to show up at my door. Okay, listen. President Joe Biden. You cannot talk all the trash that you talked about Donald Trump. You have not stood on not one of your promises. And then for you to get on TV and act like this was not an act of terrorism pisses me off to my core. You advocated that you were going to be a president that were for all people. You said that you were going to come in here and you were going to make sure that Black people got the justice that we deserve. And for you to go on TV and for you to say that that man was not a terrorist, this was not a terroristic act, shame on you. Shame on you. Now, I really hope they dig into your son's case even more. Since you want to hide stuff. Now let's keep on digging, because you want to sit over here and you don't want to call a spade a spade. You know the spade's a spade. So now you're showing your colors that you do not want to take a firm stand and call this white child, this white protected child, a terrorist, because that is what he is. He took his time and he plotted this out and he planned to go and stir up chaos. Chaos caused terror. Terror is what? Terrorism. In a confined space like that. Now, if that was a Arab person who came over here, I'm not Arabic. Let me be politically correct. An Arabic person who was to come over here and do some stuff like that, you guys will be terrorist attack supermarket. Sir, let's hold everybody under the same umbrella. He is a terrorist. He is a terrorist. He drove 200 miles from his little suburban town to this town where these young and older Black folks were minding their business and just shopping and not bothering anybody and just wanted to exist. And that reminds me of the church where Dylan Roof went and shot up that church. Black people cannot just do anything. We can't walk down the street, mind our business without somebody bothering us. We can't go to church and worship without somebody bothering us. We can't go to a grocery store and shop without somebody bothering us. We cannot barbecue in the park without somebody bothering us. I am so sick of it. And I'm sick of all these people in Congress, you Democrats too, because I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all Republicans.
Let's just stick on the Democrats part. Like, yes.
Listen, I'm gonna hold both accountable because you know what? The problem lies in both parties.
I mean, there's issues on both sides. Yeah.
It lies in both parties because neither party are for the Americans.
Yeah, they're about the lobbyists. But when we did have a guy there who wasn't bought, they did everything they could to get him out. So that's what needs to change.
What needs to change, Brandon?
It's lobbyists. Like the lobbying is what
is
the corruption, the lobbying is what's
that every American should be held to the same standard.
Yeah.
We should all, if we commit the same crime, then the crime that we committed, it should be punishable by the same standards. Okay. Yeah. It should not be, because you are lighter, or because you are white, and this is your first offense, I think you have a future, so I'm gonna go ahead and pardon you. Or because you're darker and you got dreads and you look like you could be a criminal, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the book at you. I'm sick of this shit. Or because you are Spanish speaking and this and that, you must be a foreigner, or you must be an immigrant, or you must be this. I'm so sick of shit like that. Excuse my language. I'm sick of it. America was supposed to be this country, we call it the land of the free. How can it be the land of the free when the people here are still enslaved? We are still enslaved to the corporations. We are still enslaved to Congress. We are still enslaved to property. Okay? Yeah. This cannot be the land of the free for other people if it's not free for me. If it's not free for Jazz. If it's not free for Brandon. Like, I am so sick of turning on the news and seeing all of this evil. We're not supposed to be the country that represents evil. We're the country that people look at us and be like, I want to go to America because I want a better life. But how can we take in people trying to give them a better life when we're not giving the people here a better life? And that's just safety. That's just safety. Give us safety. Let's make sure everyone has a living wage. A living wage. You know, the people here, let's take care of home first. Yeah. Let's remove the cancers, the pariahs. Let's get rid of these people who are evil and doing evil in America and punish them all. If you're a freaking criminal, then guess what? You're taking your ass to jail. You're going to do the time. I'm not freaking for no criminals. You know how to live like a human being. Your mama taught you, right? She said, come in the house, shut my goddamn door. You sit on my couch, don't put your feet on my couch, don't put your feet on my table. You walk in this house, take your hat off. So we understand rules, right? So as adults, we walk out into the real world and we use the rules that we were taught at home and the rules of society. Easy. I'm sorry, guys. Let me.
Not really. Some kids don't know because parents don't teach it.
That's true. But as adults, we can't always blame the parents because as you grow, you still learn. You still absorb the things.
You gotta blame you gotta blame parents. Starts at home. Everything. You for the first 4.5 to 5 years, the child is in your care. Like what they learn, what they don't learn is all on you. Then they go to school and then they get their minds completely warped by the school system because the school system is all jacked up, especially the public one. It is all jacked up. And the stuff that these kids are learning today is just like mind effing. And now kids are being taught like they need to know their gender pronouns.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Before they go, like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I want to be referred to as they, them. Like, what? No, you're a freaking child. No, you don't need to learn about what's going on. Don't be pushing politics on my 5-year-old. What the hell's wrong with you?
That's true. I agree with that. The
school system is jacking up our kids.
Yeah. And you want to know something, Brandon, that threw me off? My sons wanted to watch Paramount Plus app, right? So they love Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My kids love all of them. They have this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's gross. It's like, I get what you're saying because like how they did with the new Teen Titans. The television shows that they create now are sexually suggestive. Now more so, especially in these little kids cartoons. Like the Ninja Turtles now is like they're dumbfounded, they're weird. Master Splinter's fat. Like where they do that at? Because Master Splinter was a very, very disciplined man or rat. He was very disciplined. There's no way this rat is gonna be fat. And my sons are looking like, Mom, why does he look like this? Master Splinter would never do that, Mom. Why Master Splinter sad? I said, what? He said, because Mommy, you always say when you sad, you eat. And I was looking at him like, What you trying to say? What you trying to say, huh? Right? And so that's when you put 2 + 2 together. Like, okay, Master Splinter must be sad because he's fat. My mama, she got fat because she was eating, so she must have been sad. You know what I'm saying? Because she could hear me talk. And I said, dang, I didn't really realize kids really pick up on every little detail.
They do, man. There's a lot. Like, whatever you say and do, you think you ain't being watched, man. Them kids is picking up everything. So that's why when I was raising mine, I stayed away from swearing for a long time.
Oh, you sound like my producer. He doesn't cuss at all. Stay
away from it.
I've never heard my husband cuss.
So it's only way to keep them from doing it, but you can't stop it. It's just
that is true. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because this subject really just got me feeling some type of way, and I don't know, like this really hurts me because I feel like I just feel confused of how this wasn't labeled by our president as a terroristic act. And I feel, let me tell you, I'm going to say something really quick before we get off. As a little girl, I used to want to be white so bad. A lot of people don't know that, right? The reason why I wanted to be white was because I wanted the same opportunities as white people. I remember when Southside Pool was open, right? And I was trying to go get in the pool, and there was a whole bunch of white people down here, right? Now, segregation, I believe at that time was over with. But these white people did not want me to get in that pool over there, right?
Oh, boy.
I felt some type of way. It was the first time I ever felt some type of way. And that day I walked away, and I was like, damn, if I was white, I could probably get in that side of the pool because I looked. And the one side was all the black kids on that side. The other side was not one black kid. It was all white people on that side. Or I would go to camp. Like when we was at Camp B, the white girls there used to ask me about my hair, like always was touching my hair. Why your hair feel like this? And then I was like, you know what? I want to be white. I want white hair. I want good hair, right? Everything that I felt was associated with being black made me feel bad about being black because the white kids or the white people around me thought they were negative things. It took for me, and this is sad, for me to turn 28, for me to embrace my natural hair, my natural curls, the texture of my hair, for me not to use relaxers in my hair, because I always relaxed my hair so that I could feel like when I walked into a room with a white woman, I would be equal because my hair wasn't kinky, you know? And this right here today, it made me feel what I felt then. It wasn't that I wanted to be white. It was I wanted to exist. Right. I just wanted to exist and not have my skin show for a moment, just so people won't look at me a certain way when I walk in the room. Like, I know that sounds so weird, but it is. Sometimes it's hard being black and it's tiresome because I feel like I have to walk in with my armor on all the time so that I can withstand the looks and the side eyes from people who are probably judging me.
Man, I feel the same way though, Laura.
Yeah.
It's hard being a Hispanic that's considered white all the time when I go into a room full of black folk.
I imagine
I get the side eye, I get the comments, and I'm like, hey, I don't look at you like that. Why are you looking at me like that? Like it's very sad, but I don't pay attention to it. Yeah. It don't bother me. Like the one thing I let it do is roll off my back. Someone try to discriminate me, I just be like, that shows that your intelligence. Yeah. So like it shows that you're a weak-minded individual that's very scared of what I have. So
I don't think it's that. I think most black people in America now just don't trust no white folks.
Either way, I'm just saying, it just shows your character. If you're not willing to look past it,
and I think
you're not willing to look past it, it looks bad on you. That's how I look at it now.
I mean,
it rolls off my back.
But you see what we experienced walking down and how I spoke to that woman. That is something that's on the daily.
Oh yeah, when we was out in the was it the yard? What the hell is it called?
Optimus Hall.
Optimus Hall, yeah. That lady just walked right by like we didn't exist. She had like looked like a Great Dane or something. and we was trying to ask her about her dog, what her dog was, and she acted like we wasn't existing. I was like, all right, lady. I started getting louder. I was like, oh, so you act like we don't exist? Okay. That's really nice of you.
She didn't even cut her eye back. And that is something that I deal with a lot down here. And it's worse from the men. It's worse
Well,
from
that's
the
the
men.
funny thing. Well, that's funny because like I was the one that obnoxiously loud and coming at her, and then people were looking at me, and you're like, "B, don't worry about it." I'm like, "No, fuck that. No,
Yeah,
it don't work that way with me." Like people.
Yeah, and he was, because he was like, "Wait, hold up, homie, don't be trying to play my homegirl like that." I was like, "Don't worry about it," like, because I don't address stuff like that because I'm so used to it. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's
man.
serious in the
Let me
South.
go down there again, and I will be right in her face, be like, "Yo, chick, what the hell is your dog? We want to know." And then walk away.
Yeah, but it's all good though. But you know what? I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I appreciate all you guys, and just remember, just tell your family that you love them. Don't be afraid to embrace your neighbors. If your neighbor is Black, Asian, Korean, Latin, Hispanic, whatever, like say hello to them. Say hi to them, because guess what? You guys probably have so much more in common than you probably know. If we can get past color, and we can get past the shape, because we got a body shaming too going on. If we could just actually really speak to people and stop being afraid of being replaced, this earth is massive. You're not gonna be replaced. Can't nobody replace you. Remember that, you guys. People have to have confidence within themselves and stop lumping in with groups of people and creating hate groups, because this is ridiculous. Like, that's weakness. I feel like that's weakness. If you feel like you're going to be replaced, then you need to maybe seek out mental health. Okay? Because guess what? If you are you and you just keep being you uniquely and loving on you, no one could replace you, because another you cannot be created. That is a fact. Another you cannot be created. Stand firm on your own. Do not let people group you into these hate groups. And to all the young males and females out there, whether you're Caucasian, whether you're Black, no matter your race or your creed, listen, if someone is trying to encourage you to join a hate group and to hate a certain person or a certain particular group because of the color of their skin or their religious background, and whatever it is, please, please use your thought process.
Sign me up.
Use your thought process.
Oh no, don't sign me up.
Don't sign you up.
Yeah,
you don't want to be in hate groups.
Yeah, no.
That's not it. Think about the long-term effect. Think about the long-term effect. You want to throw your life away because someone else want to spew hate about a particular person? If you would actually get to know the people that these people are teaching you to hate, I promise you'll find more love in those people than that group that so-called is a hate group and want to support you. You're going to find understanding in the group of people that you're taught to hate. Trust me, because you just don't understand them. You just don't understand. You guys are different. But just have a conversation with someone different, and I promise you, it will go a whole different way than you expect. But that is all for today. I just want to push love, and I want to push out healing. I want to shout the families out to.
She okay? Kind of crashed there. Well,
Yeah.
guys, thank you very much for coming. This is Bivaz here, along with Jazz. And we would like to give y'all guys a nice little thank you again for tuning in. And you can definitely check us out at the Alluring Hour podcast through our various social media channels, also through Spotify, Facebook, and I believe, what's the other one she got? Apple, I believe.
Apple Podcast. Yeah.
Apple Podcast. So go and check us out over there, please. Again, thank you very much. And producer, you can cut us out.